Hey man, let's talk about one of the greatest illusions in the dating game. When a woman wants you, she doesn't always make it obvious. In fact, the ones who want you the most are often the quietest about it. Not because they're shy, not because they're unsure, but because the moment a woman truly desires a man, she becomes vulnerable. And women don't like vulnerability unless they're sure it's safe. That's why you might be sitting there thinking she's not interested, while in reality, she's dying for you to notice the signs. The problem is, most men are blind to the subtle language of female desire. We've been trained to look for the loud, the bold, the obvious, but real attraction doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, and unless you're paying attention, you'll miss it. You'll walk right past a woman who was hoping you'd turn around, and you'll never know what you missed until it's too late. The truth is, women operate in nuance. While men express with action, women communicate desire through patterns, tiny shifts in behavior, micro-expressions, intentional coincidences. She won't come out and say she likes you because that would cost her power. Instead, she plays in between the lines. She lingers a little longer in your presence. She laughs a little louder at your jokes, even when they're not that funny. She makes excuses to talk to you, to be near you, to somehow exist within your orbit. But if you're not grounded, if your eyes are fixated on the loud girl across the room or the text she hasn't sent, you'll miss what's right in front of you. Because desire, real feminine desire, is strategic. She wants you to notice, but she wants you to make the move. That's the game. She opens the door, slightly. Your job, walk through with composure, not desperation. One of the most obvious but overlooked signs that she secretly wants you is when she creates unnecessary proximity. It's subtle. You're at a party, and she chooses to stand next to you, even though she knows 10 other people there. You're in a group conversation, and somehow she keeps angling her body toward yours. That's not an accident. That's attraction testing your awareness. She's not chasing, but she's positioning herself within reach. It's her saying, "I'm here, do you notice me?" But if you're too caught up in chasing validation from someone else, or worse, too obsessed with your own insecurity, you'll brush it off as coincidence. You'll ignore the one woman actually sending a signal because you were too focused on the noise. And that's where most men lose. Not in the rejection, but in the missed opportunity they never even realized existed. Another sign, watch how she reacts when you give your attention to someone else. A woman who wants you won't always compete directly. That's not how the feminine works. But her energy will shift. She'll pull back slightly, become colder, or suddenly lose interest in the conversation. That's not disinterest. That's hurt. That's jealousy. She doesn't want to admit. You might think she's being distant because she doesn't care, but in reality, she's trying to protect her pride. She was hoping to be the center of your world in that moment, and now she feels replaced. And unless you're tuned into this emotional frequency, you'll misread her completely. You'll think she's done with you, when all she needed was a small moment of reassurance. Women don't say, "I feel overlooked." They show it. Through silence, through retreat, through indifference that isn't real, but reactive. Look closely at her questions. Does she ask about your weekend plans, your dating life, your preferences? That's not curiosity, that's intel gathering. She's trying to find her place in your world without exposing herself. When she asks who you were with or what you like in a woman, she's not just making conversation, she's sizing up the competition. She's analyzing whether she fits the mold, but again, if you're oblivious, you'll treat it like small talk and move on, not realizing that she was dangling the thread, waiting for you to pull it. And when you don't, she files it away as rejection. Not because you said anything wrong, but because you didn't say anything at all. And to a woman who's secretly into you, your silence stings louder than any insult. Energy. That's the most underrated signal in the entire game. You ever feel like she's always around, always watching, always there, but never fully present? That's not an accident. That's a woman creating magnetic tension. She's not chasing, she's not confronting, she's orbiting. Because deep down, she wants you to make the move. She's doing everything to make you feel her presence without ever risking rejection. That's how women play the long game. And if you're emotionally intelligent, if you're in tune with more than just visual cues, you'll start to notice that energy doesn't lie. She might not touch you, she might not flirt openly, but the way she lingers when you speak, the way her eyes soften when you laugh, the way her body finds its way into your space again and again, that's desire. It's quiet, but it's real. Now here's a big one. Most men never see coming. Delayed responses followed by overcompensation. Let me explain. Sometimes a woman pulls away. She doesn't text you back for hours or even days, and you assume she's not into you. But when she returns, suddenly she's bubbly, overly kind, or makes some excuse about being so busy. That's not disinterest. That's her battling herself. She wanted to text you, but didn't want to seem too eager. She wanted to reply right away, but didn't want to lose control, so she delayed. And when the delay felt like too much distance, she overcorrected. That's a woman who cares. That's a woman who's conflicted. And your mistake? You see the delay and get bitter. You cut her off before the full picture plays out. You react instead of observing. And in that overreaction, you lose the upper hand. Body language never lies. If you want to know if she wants you, watch her feet. Sounds crazy, but it's real. The direction of her feet in a group conversation tells you where her subconscious is pulling her. If she's facing you, even slightly, she's interested. If she crosses her legs toward you, mirrors your gestures, or finds ways to brush up against you accidentally, you've got her attention. That's not friendly, that's feminine psychology at work. But you need to be grounded to notice it. You need to stop zoning out or getting caught in your head about what to say next. Because the signs are all around you. She's practically screaming, "Notice me," through her body. But in a language only men with presence can translate. A woman who wants you might tease you. Not in the flirtatious, giggly way every guy dreams about, but in a more subtle, almost dismissive tone. She might call you out. She might say you're cocky or challenge something you said. Don't get defensive. Don't backpedal. That's her way of checking your frame. She's not attacking you. She's testing for strength. She wants to know, can this man hold his ground? Can he stay centered even when I push a little? Because if he can, that's sexy. If he collapses, apologizes, or changes to appease me, that's weak. So next time she throws a jab, smile. Don't overreact. Don't explain yourself. Just hold your ground and let her feel your stability. That's when the game shifts. That's when her tests stop and her walls begin to drop. And finally, silence. Yes, silence. If she goes quiet after a deep conversation, a long eye contact moment, or a vulnerable exchange, it doesn't always mean she lost interest. Sometimes, silence is a sign that she's processing, that she felt something, that her emotional world just got shaken. And in that moment, you must not panic. Most guys freak out and start over-communicating. They send follow-up texts. They try to clarify. But the grounded man, the emotionally intelligent man, he lets the silence breathe because he knows that if she felt something real, she'll come back. She just needs time to make peace with the emotions you stirred. Don't rob her of that. Don't fill the silence with desperation. Let her sit in what she felt. That's how obsession begins. Not in the moment you press, but in the moment you pull back and let her come to you. Here's a truth that'll sting if you don't know how to read it. When she randomly brings up another man in conversation, she's not always trying to show you she's unavailable. Sometimes it's the opposite. She wants to see how you react. She might mention some guy who complimented her at the gym, or how an ex randomly reached out. Don't fall for the trap of jealousy. Don't interrogate or freeze up. What she's doing is emotional reconnaissance. She wants to know, do you care? Are you territorial? Do you see her as yours, or are you still passive? The men who lose her are the ones who try to be too cool, pretending it doesn't affect them while completely missing the game being played. The high-value man acknowledges the message without losing control. He keeps his energy grounded and simply smirks. That reaction tells her everything she needs to know. It says, I see what you're doing, and you're not going to shake me. That moment of composed confidence burns in her brain far longer than any dramatic response ever could. Now let's talk social media. If she's posting stories or pictures that seem oddly directed at you, inside jokes, mutual memories, or the same song you once shared, that's no accident. Women curate their feeds with precision when they're targeting a man emotionally. It's her way of reaching out without reaching out. She might not text you directly, but her stories scream her intent. She wants to remind you she's still there. She wants to re-enter your thoughts without losing pride. But if you're not watching with emotional intelligence, you'll think it's just coincidence. That's the dangerous part. Missing the signs that she's building a bridge back to you while pretending to walk away. The man who sees through the surface, who knows how women use subtlety as strategy, he becomes her obsession because he doesn't chase, he notices. And that awareness is power. Women want to be chosen, but not by everyone. They want to be chosen by you. And that's why when she starts acting uncomfortable around you, when she fidgets or rambles or avoids direct eye contact, it's not because she's bored or disinterested, it's because she feels something she can't control. Her nervous system is literally reacting to your presence. She's worried about saying the wrong thing, messing up the vibe, or exposing how much she wants your validation. Men misinterpret this all the time. They think she's not engaged, when in reality, her mind is racing because you matter more than she wants to admit. The wrong move here is to pull away. The right move? Stay grounded. Be calm. Be the anchor while her emotions swirl. Let her stumble over her words and don't call attention to it. Just smile. That kind of masculine steadiness pulls her in deeper than words ever could. A woman who secretly wants you will do something most guys never notice. She mirrors your values. If you mention something you're passionate about, fitness, business, spirituality, you'll start to see her align her identity to reflect yours. Suddenly, she's reading the book you mentioned. She's listening to the artist you love. She's adopting your slang, your style, your vibe. That's not mimicry. That's emotional attachment forming. She wants to be in your world, she wants to belong, and she knows the fastest way to bond with a man is to reflect the things he holds dear. Don't overlook this. It's not just flattery. It's her way of saying, I'm already becoming part of your tribe. Don't you see it? When a woman begins to mold parts of herself to match your path, you better believe she's invested. Most men see the change, but miss the message. And when you miss the message, you miss the moment to deepen the connection. One of the most powerful but misunderstood signs a woman wants you is when she starts conflict out of nowhere. She might get irritated, accuse you of something silly, or bring up a past comment that suddenly bothered her. Most guys get defensive, they push back, or worse, apologize for something they didn't even do. Big mistake. What she's really doing is testing the emotional infrastructure of the connection. She's asking, can this man hold my chaos without flinching? She doesn't want drama, she wants containment. She wants to know if you can absorb her storm without turning into one yourself. If you fail that test, she retreats. If you pass it with patience, calm, and steady energy, her walls fall apart because now she feels safe. Safe enough to fully let go. Safe enough to surrender to you, emotionally, physically, and mentally. You ever notice how she always finds a way to say goodbye, but never really leaves? Maybe she says she's tired, but keeps messaging. Maybe she says she's not interested, but keeps watching your stories. Maybe she says she's moving on, but her presence keeps lingering. That's not confusion, that's resistance. She's caught between pride and desire, between her ego and her emotions. And if you respond to her "I'm done" statements with panic, with pleading, with more pursuit, you lose the frame. But if you just nod, if you lean back and let her feel the weight of her own absence, that's when she realizes what she's actually walking away from. That's when the silence gets heavy, and that's when she returns. Not because you chased, but because you didn't. Let's talk about her friends. A woman who secretly wants you will recruit. She'll bring up your name in conversation. She'll test the waters. She wants to see what her social circle thinks of you because she's already imagining a future. Her best friend might randomly start following you. One of her girls might accidentally mention that she talks about you a lot. These aren't accidents, these are breadcrumbs. She's laying the foundation of acceptance. She wants you inside her life in more ways than one, so she sends out feelers. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice how quickly your name spreads in circles you never touch directly. That's desire with a plan. A woman who doesn't care won't talk. A woman who's emotionally invested, she'll advertise you without you even knowing. When a woman wants you, but is scared of rejection, she'll often pretend not to care. She'll give you short replies, act indifferent, and even tease you about other girls. But here's the trick, watch her eyes. Words lie, eyes never do. When you say something deep, do her pupils dilate? Does her expression soften even for a second? Does she track your every move, even when pretending to ignore you? That's how you read through the emotional poker face. Her words say whatever, but her soul is screaming for you to see her. If you only listen to what's said, you'll be misled. But if you feel what's unspoken, if you see beyond the sarcasm and small talk, you'll realize she's craving your lead. She just needs to know you're strong enough to take the risk without being shaken by her surface games. A woman who secretly wants you might become strangely competitive, not in a masculine, aggressive way, but emotionally. She'll try to one-up your stories, subtly outshine other women in your presence, or prove that she's not like the others. She'll act disinterested when you mention someone else, then suddenly talk about a guy who's chasing her, just to gauge your reaction. This isn't manipulation, it's strategy. It's her way of saying, I want to matter to you, and if you overreact, you fail. But if you smile, if you respond with quiet confidence and zero fear, that's when she starts folding. That's when her games collapse, because now she sees that she doesn't need to compete. You already saw her, and that validation is everything. Here's the deepest sign of all, and it's the hardest one to recognize. She gives you the gift of her softness. The feminine energy is protective by default. Most women are guarded, especially in today's world. But when she starts letting that guard down around you, when her voice softens, her gaze lingers longer, and her walls start melting, you're not just someone she likes, you're someone she trusts. That's rare, that's sacred, and if you don't know how to handle it, you'll break something beautiful. When a woman lets you see her vulnerable, emotional, or even a little insecure, that's not weakness, that's a gift. It means you've passed enough tests to make her feel safe. Don't abuse that, don't exploit it, just hold it with care, because that softness, that's the part of her that most men never even get close to. And if she gave it to you, it means she's already yours. Another subtle clue, she remembers the little things. You might have mentioned offhand that your favorite drink is black coffee, or that your dog's name is Max, and next time you talk, she references it casually, like she's been storing that data like treasure. Because women don't memorize what doesn't matter. When she wants you, her mind starts building a file cabinet of your life. Your likes, your habits, your quirks, they all get cataloged. That's her emotional investment at work. She's mentally preparing for a deeper connection. And most men miss this completely. They see it as nice or friendly, but it's far more intimate than that. It's her way of inching closer without scaring herself off. It's her way of showing care while maintaining deniability. But now that you know the game, don't play dumb. Start noticing. Because the woman who recalls your silence is the one who's been listening to your soul. Here's a move you've probably experienced, but didn't understand at the time. She'll withdraw just to see if you'll come after her. She'll go quiet for a day or two, suddenly busy or mysteriously unavailable. She wants to see your emotional threshold. Will you panic? Will you double text? Will you collapse into neediness the moment she disappears? Or will you hold frame and keep moving like your life is too full to even flinch? This isn't cruelty, it's curiosity. She wants to feel your strength without needing to ask for it. When a man can handle feminine withdrawal with calm confidence, it flips a switch inside her. She realizes you're not like the rest. You don't chase what runs, you attract what's ready. And that realization, that's when she starts chasing. Let's talk about teasing. Playful mocking, light sarcasm. If she's comfortable teasing you, but not in a hostile or emasculating way, it's a huge sign. Why? Because it means she's seeking intimacy through tension. She's trying to create an inside joke, a shared rhythm, a dance only the two of you understand. And teasing is her low-risk way of bridging the gap, without making it obvious she wants closeness. Most guys either get offended or think it means she's not interested, but the smart ones, they tease right back, without being mean, without trying too hard. They flirt with confidence, match her tone, and lead the rhythm. And that ability to lead emotionally through humor, that's catnip for women. It tells her this man gets it. He sees me, plays with me, but doesn't pedestal me. And that balance is irresistible. A woman who wants you will always make room in her schedule. No matter how busy she claims to be, if she's truly drawn to you, she'll find a way. She might cancel plans with others, rearrange her day, or suddenly become free at the exact moment you mention meeting. This isn't just convenience, it's priority, and you can feel the difference. When a woman truly wants your presence, she doesn't treat you like a task, she treats you like a craving. Time becomes fluid, energy becomes abundant, and her willingness to shift her world, even slightly, just to be around you. That's no small sign. That's her subconscious saying, you matter enough to change my rhythm. Don't take it for granted. Recognize it, and let her effort be matched, not with neediness, but with presence. Here's a hard truth. When a woman wants you but feels too exposed, she'll test you through silence. She won't initiate conversations. She'll wait and wait, hoping you'll break the tension, not because she doesn't want you, but because she wants to feel pursued. This is where most men break. They either give up completely or overcompensate with desperation. But the high-value man, he moves with timing. He might wait an extra day, let the tension breathe, then drop a message so grounded, so present, that it resets the vibe entirely. It's not about if you reach out. It's about how and why. Are you texting from fear or from strength? She can feel the difference in every word. If you lead with patience and composure, she melts. Because that level of emotional discipline isn't just attractive, it's rare. You'll know she wants you when her energy becomes chaotic around you. She might talk too fast, laugh too hard, fidget with her jewelry, or stumble over basic words. She's not being weird, she's being vulnerable. Her nervous system is trying to regulate desire, and it's failing beautifully. If you don't understand feminine psychology, you'll misread this as awkwardness or disinterest. But it's the opposite. She's feeling you. Her body's sending signals her mind can't control. And that's when you must lead with calm. Be the steady breath in her storm, the grounded gaze in her flustered state. Don't mock her. Don't get smug. Just smile. Reassure her without saying much. And that moment of silent understanding, that's what women remember forever. Sometimes she won't say a word, but her body will scream it. The way she adjusts her posture when you enter a room, the way her feet point towards you, even in group conversations, the way she lingers when everyone else leaves. These are ancient cues, pre-verbal, primal. A woman's attraction starts in her nervous system, not her vocabulary. And if you learn how to read the unsaid, you become fluent in desire. You'll notice the micro pauses, the hair touches, the shifts in breath. And most importantly, you won't need her to spell it out. That's power. Because once she realizes you can read her soul without her saying a word, she won't just want you, she'll feel understood. And that is intimacy at its deepest level. Another major sign, she offers to help you unprompted. Maybe she sends you a link to something she knows you'll like. Maybe she picks up something for you while shopping. Maybe she checks in before a big event. These aren't just nice gestures, these are bids for inclusion. She's saying, I want to support your world. Women invest emotionally before they commit physically. So when she starts acting like a teammate before you even ask, that's gold. That's emotional foreplay. Don't dismiss it, receive it, but stay grounded. Appreciate without attachment. Because your calm gratitude tells her, I value your effort, but I don't need it to feel whole. And that's the balance that draws her in, deeper. Let's flip it. Sometimes she'll withdraw support just to test your strength. Maybe she used to like your posts and suddenly stops. Maybe she becomes distant for no clear reason. Don't panic. Don't react. What she's doing is simple. She's checking your emotional pulse. Can you handle her absence? Will you spiral? Or will you remain unfazed, unshaken, still on your path? The men who pass this test don't retaliate. They don't sulk. They double down on their purpose. And that quiet conviction, that unspoken resilience, that's when she comes crawling back. Because now she sees that you're not hers to control, you're a force to witness. And that level of power isn't just attractive, it's unforgettable. Lastly, when a woman invites your opinion on deeply personal things, family, career, fears, that's a major sign. She's opening her world. She's not just making small talk, she's handing you access to the parts of her that most never see. And here's the real test. What do you do with that access? Do you use it to control, to impress, to gain leverage, or do you hold it with quiet respect? The men who win the deepest parts of a woman are the ones who never try to own her vulnerability. They simply honor it. And that emotional safety, that's what turns infatuation into obsession. That's what makes her choose you over everyone else. Because in a world full of men who chase the body, the one who protects the soul is the one she never forgets. Sometimes the loudest message she sends is in how she reacts to other women around you. Watch her body language when a woman laughs at your joke. Observe the shift in her voice when another girl texts you. Notice the subtle change in energy when she realizes other women notice you. Jealousy, if not expressed in a toxic or possessive way, is often a sign of interest. She might not say it, but her instincts are shouting it. I want to be the one. It's not that she's territorial, it's that she suddenly sees her feelings in the reflection of competition. And if you're grounded, calm, and unfazed in those moments, you become magnetic, because she realizes you're not just desirable, you're desired. And the man who doesn't need to flaunt it is the man she'll chase in silence. If she asks you deep questions, not surface level fluff, but the kind that takes guts to ask, it's because she wants to know what kind of man you really are. Questions like, what motivates you? Or what's your biggest fear? Or what do you value in a relationship? Are not random, they're data gathering missions. And if you answer with shallow, dismissive quips, she'll feel like you're just another guy who doesn't want to be seen. But if you answer with clarity, strength, and a little vulnerability, not emotional dumping, but conscious truth, you open a portal. Suddenly, you're not just a potential option, you're different. And different is what haunts her when the night is quiet and the phone is silent. She'll mention her future in subtle ways, just to see if you flinch. She might say, I've always wanted to live near the ocean, or when I have kids, I want to teach them to cook. These aren't just dreams, they're invitations. Invitations to notice, to engage, to consider if you could fit. She's not asking for a ring, she's testing your ability to hold a long-term vision. Can you picture something beyond the now? Can you make space in your life story for a co-star, or are you still stuck on chapter 1?